Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ultimate Fashion History with me, Amanda Halley, and this month's episode of What We're Into, our little monthly video magazine, if you will, of everything that's inspiring me or delighting me or intriguing me in any given month. And can you believe it's September already? Where did this year go? I think we all know where this year went. Before we start, just to remind you that I don't do comments here, but I'll leave my contact details in the description, or better yet, join the Ultimate Fashion History Facebook group. It's a swell and swanky bunch over there. And can I just take this opportunity to send a big shout out and some thanks to the group admins, Kendall, Danelle, Tom, and sometimes Carm and Maria, for all that they do for the group. I don't thank them nearly enough as I should. Anyway, off we go, and I'll leave the links to everything discussed in the episode. Right, what are we into? Let's start with some fashion. Well, as we speak, the Spring-Summer 21 ready-to-wear shows, most of them virtual, are going on, and so far, so good, to be honest. Of course, my fear was that everybody would be going apocalyptic with dark colours or combat. And although some designers went in that direction, there was a surprising amount of really pretty and colourful and joyful stuff. Here are my faves so far. I am always a sucker for romantic vintage-looking collections, and so I loved Rodart's showing of 1930s and 1940s inspired dresses and separates in rosy pinks and pretty periwinkles. Aren't they lovely? And I loved the Jetset stylings of Sarah Battaglia. So Slim Aaron's, isn't it? And I adored Jason Wu's gorgeous collection of impeccably tailored yet very relaxed looking separates and dresses, all worked in this rainforest palette. And I thought it was so cool that Johnson Hartig used silkscreens from Libertine's infant days, like these 18th century Dresden prints. Taken as a whole, perhaps it's a little bit much, but of course these separates aren't meant to be worn all at once in real life. But not every collection that I've liked so far draws from the past. I was obsessed with Marina Mosconi's strange and pared-down collection of kimono sleeve tunics and ankle-length pants and skirts, matching separates and interesting tailoring. This seems so right somehow, and don't you think that if we weren't all so wedded in the past and guilty as charged over here, this is the kind of thing people should be wearing in the 2020s? It kind of reminded me of the wardrobe in the original Planet of the Apes movie, if Planet of the Apes was très chic. And yes, I do have an episode on Planet of the Apes in Fave Film fashion. Anyway, what I've noticed in the ready-to-wear collections for 2021 so far is gingham. So much gingham in pretty pastels. And those of you who watch What We're Into every month will remember that in March, I think, I predicted that gingham would be making a comeback, so I'm feeling quite self-important and full of myself right now. Another thing I noticed in both the ready-to-wear and resort collections for next year was how much oversize we saw. Now, those of you who work within the fashion industry will know that we've been trying to sell the idea of oversized for at least a decade, but nobody wanted it. Programmed as we have all been to the idea that to look attractive, clothing must be skin tight. It's been all about showing off the booty, has it not? The word oversized also scared people because they assumed it would come by way of the 80s with huge and masculine silhouettes. And the first attempt at doing oversized a couple of years ago didn't really work either, did it, for obvious reasons? And even with Spring-Summer 21, some designers still got the idea of oversize wrong. Nobody is going to wear this, and this is exactly the reason why people have been scared of the concept of oversized. But think about it. This counts as oversized. This is oversized, as is this. As is this. Oversized today means billowing and voluptuous and elegant and feminine, and it works on every single age group, doesn't it? I love the collections, but these designers are too rich for my blood, so, due to popular demand, no joke, a lot of you seem to like it when I do this, which is lovely. Welcome to a new segment in What We're Into, as I invite you to get the look for less. Let's take some of my own fave looks from Ready to Wear 2021 so far, and let's get that look for less. A lot less. The stylish simplicity of Marina Mosconi's futuristic vision can be yours for under $80, and I'm guessing that some of you might already have a lot of this stuff in your own wardrobe. Head over to ASOS or Amazon and get yourself a pair of ankle-length black pants for under $20. Add a long-sleeved ribbed t-shirt. The Gap usually has them for under $20, cheaper in the sales. Add a black kimono top. I think this one comes from H&M and cost about $18. Add a pink belt detail. I saw this one on Amazon for $5.99. And what have you got? You've got the look for less. Libertine's beautiful 18th century prints. Well, check this out. I found this dress on Shein for $30. The Libertine collection was all about these Dresden prints, and this dress is giving you the same concept, right? And for boy, a lot less money. And for my boys, I found this fabulous suit for you on ASOS for about $150. Let's do some more. And what of Rodart's beautiful ladylike vintage-inspired collection? Well, check this out. I found this pair of pants at House of Foxy for 75 quid. Team it with a Horse and Curtis 45 quid blouse. And add a pair of lace pink gloves. Amazon $5.99, and you've got the look for less. And what about this? I found this beautiful billowing kitten bow blouse at Silk Thread for $27. Zulily, $18 pants, and just buy a cheap headscarf in a matching tone from Amazon, along with a pair of white framed shades. And what have you got? The look for less. I'll cover more of the Ready to Wear 2021 collections next month, and yes, help you get the look for less, saving you money with the UFH. What else are we into? Well, a couple of weeks ago, I got a wonderful email from a lady called Laura Ainsworth, and there she is. Isn't she stunning? And it transpires that Laura is a singer-songwriter with 3 albums out, which she kindly sent to me, and the title of her latest, New Vintage, perfectly describes her style. Some people sing jazz standards but with a modern-sounding voice, but Laura sings new material with a truly vintage-sounding voice, and that's a rare and wonderful thing. I'd say she was a cross between Julie London, Peggy Lee, and Ella Fitzgerald, but of course she sounds like none of them, and is completely her own woman. She also sings jazz standards, and if you love the golden age of cocktail singers as much as I do, you will love Laura. I'll leave a link to her website. Oh, she's also a comedy writer. Our kind of lady, right? What else are we into? Yes, this month it's my favorite trade show of them all, Maison et Objet in Paris. I used to go every year when I was still trend forecasting, and I'm so glad that they put it all online, as they had to this year because of COVID. Anyway, here are some of my favorite things that I spotted online at this year's Maison et Objet. There is a real trend for landscape wallpaper this season. It was all over the wallpaper sector, and it is so gorgeous and so transformative. No guesses as to why landscape wallpaper is making a revival, right? Even though we are starting to travel a little, it's still really difficult, and as we can't go dine in a cafe on the banks of the River Seine, we'll bring the Seine into our homes with this lovely landscape wallpaper. Maybe you're more of an adventurer and are missing your trips to the rainforest. No sweat, bring the rainforest into your bedroom. Alternatively, you can pretend you're laying on a sandy dune, a warm breeze blowing over you. This is all so lovely. but not as lovely as this, Notre Dame chez vous, with a wallpaper based on a 19th century etching. I think this is so cool and so chic. What else did I like at Maison et Objet? There seems to be quite a trend for all things Neolithic and primitive. If the Neolithic age was glamorous, which it probably wasn't, I love this carpet, but not as much as this gold table inspired by Stonehenge. And look at this chair. It's so Quest for Fire, which, by the way, is one of my favourite movies. And look at this dinner service of stone and gold. There was a lot of stone this season. What does it all mean? Maybe COVID has inspired us all to revisit the concept of what it is to be human. What do you think? I think it's fab. Moving forward in history a little, I loved this. A set of porcelain serving bowls by Ming Muse, each featuring a detail from a Northern Renaissance painting. And if that isn't cool enough, they stack. And once you've stacked them all, you're left with this beautiful jar. How cool is that? But my fave items from Maison et Objet come by way of Greek design house Sophia Enjoy Thinking, which I think might be an odd translation of wisdom, happiness and thought. Look at these. Their extensive collection of Hellenic statues painted in wild pop colours. I am obsessed with these. I want them all. You can have every Greek philosopher in any colour that you want. Again, I want them all. Do you remember a few months ago and what we're into? I told you how much I'm into Greece. And best of all, this stuff isn't actually stupidly expensive. Although, yes, you can get the look for less. I found this bust of Diana on Amazon for $36. Get yourself down to Michael's and buy some spray paint for around $15 and you know what you're going to do with it, right? Yes, you're going to get the look for less. What else are we into? I am in love with Azerbaijani artist Faid Akman, and carpet is his medium. Look at these. He creates art that begins with traditional Azerbaijan carpet motifs, but then he makes them look as if they're melting or swirled into psychedelic spirals. It's extraordinary. One of my Facebook friends posted this, but I can't remember who it was, so if he or she is watching, forgive me for forgetting, and thank you for turning me on to such a cool guy. I remembered who turned me on to the next thing I'm into this month, though. My dad, David Wolfe. Hi, Dad. He urged me to watch this new film on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher, and I did, and it's pretty life-changing in terms of our thoughts about octopus. And remember last year I went through a bit of an octopus phase because I love the way they look? Well, now I love them as pets as well. Well, not really pets. My Octopus Teacher is truly beautiful and tells the story of a South African underwater filmmaker who forms this strange and strong relationship with an octopus. She utterly knows him and seems to, well, kind of love him. It's a beautiful, beautiful film, and no more calamari for me. What else are we into? A couple of weeks ago, we were watching this Australian thriller series, and I absolutely cannot remember what it was called or what it was about. Do you recognize this screenshot? But when I saw these houses here, I had to find more about this style of Australian architecture. So, of course, I asked the UFH Facebook group, and our Australian delegates told me all about it. It's called Australian Italianate and mostly dates from the last quarter of the 19th century and the first 10 years of the 20th, and I am crazy about it. This mix of styles, the columns and colonnades and tympanium and entablature, it's all so wonderful. Tell you what else is wonderful? Louis and Beau. We've had them 7 months now, and yes, they were beautiful and cute and funny, but not the most affectionate of cats, I'll be honest. Actually, I think they kind of hated us. Yet, over the past 3 weeks, there has been this incredible turnaround. It's like they suddenly discovered love and decided that they like it. They went from ignoring and despising us to loving us above all things, jumping on our laps, sleeping in the bed with us under the duvet, demanding strokes, giving kisses and headbutts. It took a lot longer than I thought for them to come around, but when they did, wow, it's like living with two little Pepe Le Pews now. What else are we into? We are really enjoying Gordon Ramsay's new show, Uncharted. Basically, he travels around the world, learning from and cooking with indigenous people who then challenge him to make a feast based on their own cuisine. It is delightful and inspiring, as you will see in a bit, and one of his episodes sent me down a bit of a research wormhole. And along the way, I discovered the traditional attire of the Hmong, the indigenous tribes of China, Vietnam and Laos, who are famous for their incredible beadwork. It is absolutely stunning. And I love how much of it is worked in these bright neon and candy colors. I think it is indescribably beautiful. I read a really interesting article in Vogue Online this week about the recent emergence of indigenous American designers and labels like SRO, Okalini LeBlanc and Rob Geary, Oxidix and Shosho Esquire. This is really exciting stuff, blending as it does traditional aesthetics, textiles and techniques with an uber contemporary street style vibe. I think this is gorgeous stuff. I'm very excited about all of this. Want some more fashion? There is a new fashion history channel on YouTube that I am just dying to tell you about. It's called Fashion and ... and its creator is fashion curator and historian Scott Schiavone, who is brilliant. And although his channel is fairly new, he already has a ton of truly inspired and informative content, such as Fashion and Schiaparelli, Fashion and Versailles, Fashion and Tartan, Fashion and Disco, Fashion and Poire. I'm obsessed with this channel and I am guessing that you will be too. I'll leave a link, of course, and well done, Scott. What have I been listening to this month? I have been listening to a lot of The Magnetic Fields, which in truth is just really a vehicle for singer-songwriter Stephen Merritt, and I honestly don't think I'm overstating things when I say that Merritt's brilliant, clever, funny and heartbreaking lyrics make him the Cole Porter of the pop era. If you need an introduction, listen to the song A Cat Called Dionysus, especially if you have ever had a cat. It'll make you laugh, but it will also make you cry, and I'll leave a link. And because you'll need cheering up after all that, let me introduce you to the person who is adding a lot of sunshine into my world this month. Jetset Sarah. Jetset Sarah is the brand name of Miami-based travel writer, journalist, blogger, stylist, and fashion maven Sarah Greaves Gabardine. And her job is to travel around the Caribbean, writing, filming, photographing island life and travel in her own smart and exuberant way. She also does a lot of fashion. I'll leave a link to everything in Sarah's world, her webpage, YouTube channel, Instagram, all that good stuff. You will love her. I think Jetset Sarah and I should trade jobs for a month. I'll do her jobs, and Sarah, you can do the UFH. What do you think? She'd probably do a better job on the UFH than I would being Jet Set Amanda. I just lay on the beach all day with a pina colada. Oh, let me tell you something else I discovered this month. This lovely website called 7 Stories High, which is devoted to the TV series Agatha Christie's Poirot, with blog posts, fan art, trivia, bits and bobs, all of it covering the David Suchet Poirot series. And you guys know what's coming next. Yes, my brother artist Zach Wolfe is still taking commissions, and thank you to all of you who have commissioned him so far. I'm so glad you love the finished products as much as you did. Zach works from photos. Here's his David Suchet, and he is so reasonable. I'll leave his deets. Get ready to get hungry because it's time for the food of the month, the cocktail of the month, and the birthday of the month. Inspired by Gordon Ramsay's new show, I have set myself a challenge to cook the national dish from every nation on the planet. Of course I won't, but I made a fabulous start this month, and Christmas came early. I travelled in my mind and in my mouth to spectacular Guyana and made Guyanese Pepperpot. It's a meat stew. You can use any meat, beef, chicken, pork, lamb, or even make it with just veggies. And it's eaten in Guyana and many other Caribbean nations on Christmas Day. It was quick and easy to make and relied upon this cassoulet. It's a sort of sweet and sticky base sauce made from the cassava root, which also gives us cyanide, but there's none of that in Guyanese Pepperpot. And you can buy this cassoulet online or at any tropical grocery store, and it was delicious. Sort of bitter but also sweet and cinnamony, and although you can serve it with rice, we ate ours in the traditional Guyanese fashion with just some thick white bread to mop up the sauce. I got my recipe from the website Alica's Pepperpot, which is full of traditional Caribbean recipes that are so easy to follow, and Alica's a naturally gifted writer, so I'll leave a link to her website too. And the cocktail of the month? Well, I came across this fairly new cocktail called the Omar Sharif, and I tried it out. And although it was very nice and refreshing, we felt it didn't have the charisma and dynamism of its namesake. So I took some of the elements in the Omar Sharif, zhuzhed them up a bit, added some of my own, and created a brand new cocktail, which we are calling the Delida. It calls for Parma pomegranate liqueur, lemon vodka, Grand Marnier just a drop, orange juice, ground cinnamon, and mint. I'll leave the recipe. The end result is this exotic yet refreshing mix of subtly layered flavors that is truly and genuinely delicious, without a doubt my most successful homemade cocktail. And just to remind you, there is an episode of Delida here on the Ultimate Fashion History. I'll leave a link to that too. And the birthday of the month. No, it's not a designer this month, but somebody who loves clothes, loves fashion, loves the UFH, and evidently loves me. In fact, I met him through the Ultimate Fashion History. My husband Rupert is a September baby. It was his birthday this month, and no, that's not him. He's a bit shy. So here's a picture of Paul Henreid, whom I always think looks a little like Rupert. So happy birthday to him, and let me tell you, he is really enjoying my birthday present to him, the iKitsch Ice Maker. And I hope that you enjoyed this early autumn episode of What We're Into. I'll be back very soon with more episodes here on the UFH, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope that your September is as full of new and exciting things that you're into as well. And as always, lots of love. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you soon, and bye for now.